Hey everyone, I'm Will,
I'm Caleb.
and we are starting a new series on the channel called Hailing Frequencies Open. In this series, we're going to tackle comments that we get on our podcasts so that we can spend a little bit more time and not feel rushed.
Hailing frequencies open, Captain.
So let's get into the comments.
They're hailing us. Hailing frequencies open.
Captain, we're receiving 285,000 hails.
I wish I knew what to tell them.
First, we have a comment from Daystrom Review on our Arsenal of Freedom podcast. They say, Worf's killing of the Klingon is also a cultural relevist position inherently contradictory with Starfleet ideology. Agreed. He gave him a Klingon death in respect of Klingon culture, even if Starfleet wants to promote itself as culturally superior to everyone else. Starfleet wants to respect people by word, but not by deed.
Yeah.
I don't think he was actually intending to fire on the warp core. It kind of felt like a death by red shirt thing, where he just wanted to go out in a fight on the flagship of their former war foes. Then he writes, I see you shiver with anticipation. I never actually thought about it, but there's a chance Picard and Dr. Crusher aren't engaged by the murder bots, is that they're in the showroom. It might be a safe zone, but weird
Oh,
nobody else hid there. Good point.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. The holographic salesperson is one of two bit roles that stands out for me in Next Gen. He's one of those vaguely familiar actors that you've probably seen in 1,000 tiny roles in syndicated TV, but he just nailed this one so great.
Yeah.
And he is really good in this episode.
He's got one of those faces.
He does. He does. A plausible case for not destroying the computers is that they might not know the source of power for the potentially anonymous killer sentries. Destroying the computers might remove their only connection to the system. Yes?
Yeah. The risk we're really willing to take.
Yeah, right. I always assumed people are getting attacked at random now because the inhabitants of the planet left demonstration mode engaged and were wiped out with nobody in the safe zone vending room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally, yeah, it does make sense. I totally agree with Caleb, although the special effects are improved from TOS, no longer just single frames held with sound. It's now just a really rudimentary effects added to video. The actors
Mm.
aren't really used to it, and it shows.
Well,
Some
yeah.
guest actors overtap the consoles since they're just glass panels. They're still getting used to bumping around when struck.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That in TOS, they literally could just freeze the frame.
Yeah,
But now in this, it's like you as an actor has to be like,
yeah, yeah,
you have to stand still. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. And Riker's had two episodes now.
It's true. It's true.
He's in the cone of silence and he's standing there. And then this last one we watched where he's getting electrocuted, he's like he
I
has to
can't
stand
move.
there for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes, like, oh my God,
I
that
think too.
sucks.
I think too. He's also speaking to what you were talking about with the phaser, where they have to go like,
Yeah. They have to like hand animate it. Yeah.
yeah. Then he says, "Do you think Picard paid for his agreed upon sale of arms? Does he personally own this weapon now? Does Starfleet just have one of this model in some storage? Did he just sweep it under the rug and not mention it in his report to Starfleet?"
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. You know what I kind of thought after he said this? I felt like this was going to be one of those like a vending machine where you put quarters in and you're like, nice, I'm gonna get this Snickers bar, then like nothing comes out. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Yeah. I just picture them like leaving the planet and then the robot is just watching them leave.
No.
Oh, father.
But I thought I had a sale.
Why did you buy me? Why?
Why?
Just to abandon me?
He finishes up, so we also really quickly forgot about the dead people, and Riker doesn't grieve his dead friend. LOL. So
Oh yeah. Wow. I forgot.
so we appreciate you commenting the Daystrom review. Yeah, it's nice to have like a lot of very similar thoughts to what we had and expanding upon.
Yeah.
Then we got a comment from my office.
From my office.
Very good from my office.
From my office.
He says, I was happy for you when they mentioned the USS Drake,
Oh
but
yeah.
the 24th century's Drake top warp is 3? The Drake from your
Uh,
RPG in the 22nd century is faster.
yep. You don't want to know what happened to it.
Oh no. Immediately a downgrade.
Yeah. Well, they. What's the third time? It was the third or fourth time it's been.
The crew have
Yeah,
died.
because we're the second, so I assume this is the third.
Yeah, true.
And they're just like, I don't know, just let it like fly around. I don't know. Yeah, that is really weird
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
even in
but
Archer's timeline,
they have
Warp
like a
3 wasn't like max, right? Wasn't it?
no. They had a Warp 5 engine
It
that was
was
like the
five,
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it doing out there?
Yeah. Also, like in Kirk's time, like he just had any number he felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That is really funny. I missed that.
Should there be a running tally through the series of times Riker passes up a command, or at least we hear about him doing so? I believe this is the first in the series, so Riker command pass up number 1. Could have captained the Drake.
Yeah. Are you counting Riker commanding the flagship lollipop too, or no?
He
Because that's
doesn't.
two. That's two in this episode.
That's true. He doesn't. He didn't count that.
Oh, right off the bat, I'm not trusting your rating system. We over here, we're known for having a pretty good rating
Yeah,
system.
we have a really, really understandable rating system.
Yeah,
So
I
we're gonna
don't.
have
I definitely
to.
don't have like sticky notes all around my monitor. That's like,
From my office, we'll have to take a demerit this week. It's okay.
yeah,
I guess in the 24th century, they still haven't found a way around ads. The weapons were pretty neat, and Captain Rice was indeed freaky. I was a little
Mm,
disappointed that the big weapon attacking the Enterprise was basically just a big brother version of the small guys. It would have been
yeah,
cool to see some sort of other design. Yeah, and I agree. Like, it would have been nice if he was like a small, I think they're called like peregrine fighters or something like that. They're like small little ships. That would have been kind of neat.
yeah,
Oh, and then he has this thing that he wanted to ask you a question, Caleb.
yeah.
He says, "Oh, did you know that the Enterprise can separate its saucer section?"
Oh, you know what? I think I've heard that. I've heard that it could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Have they mentioned that any at all this season?"
No, no. I think this is the first time they do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's cool because so like from my understanding, it's really cool because like they put all the families like on the saucer and they send the
Yeah,
saucer to the station.
yeah,
You can only do like warp 3, but they send it to the station.
yeah,
And then the bottom half that's just the nacelles and all the things that'll explode really, really easily that don't have this much like great shielding on the back. They send that into battle.
yeah,
So that's like so they basically go like in the elevator, they go to like the bottom floor and they're
yeah,
like, all right, Captain, we're flying the engines. I don't know. So it's cool because like the saucer also has like its own
yeah,
engine and stuff that you don't see.
yeah,
So they had to like they basically had to do twice the work for one giant ship. So it's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah. And only like two people can separate it and one person can put it back together.
That's true.
Unless he's not there, then anybody can do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, they have to call him. They have to call him and say, Riker, can you guys in? And he says, okay. Little to the left, little to the oh, little to the right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really stupid. As far as like ship design things in Trek, I think this is probably one of the worst so far I've seen. That like
yeah,
and they just love it. It's like I get it. Like as a props guy,
yeah.
the props department figured out a way to have like magnetic mechanical like clicking for like the small
Yes.
scale, and they're like, "Hey, we did it, so we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it like every other episode. We're gonna show how this thing."
Yeah. You
We're gonna
know
show
how
it.
like 80s, 90s cartoons, they would have like a character and then he had
Yeah.
like one ability.
Yes, it's so bad.
You know what I mean though? Like he would go through the whole
Yeah.
episode like Popeye, he would go through the whole episode and get beat up. And then it would be like, all right, this is it. He's down for the count. He's not gonna get up, or he's getting crushed by the boulder. And then he would be like, spinach,
Spinach.
and it's like, and that's what you're waiting for that like the whole episode of the cartoon. You're waiting for that to happen for
Yeah.
He-Man to just put his sword up in the air or
Yeah.
whatever.
Thundercats.
Right, exactly.
It's so funny that you mentioned I never thought about this being an 80s
Yes,
mechanic
yes,
because everything in the 80s was like, oh, like Transformers and
yeah,
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers would, there's
yeah,
Zort suits.
right.
And what was the other thing? The other, where like the kids were in the robots and the robots would all click together to make like a
Oh,
giant.
Voltron.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
exactly what this is. It's like, hey, what do kids like? Kids like when things like come apart.
yeah,
They're
right.
like, oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Let's make the ship come apart.
Yeah, exactly. But we wait for it. We wait for it to happen in the episode.
But but seriously though, I think this is maybe the first time I've really thought about it as like an engineering standpoint. It literally means that they have two engine rooms, two bridges.
Yes. I don't know if they have necessarily a full engine room because they don't have like a warp core. I think it's just impulse up at the top saucer.
Yeah,
But they essentially do have engine components because like that's where the impulse engines are.
you would have to, and you'd have to have exhaust
Oh yeah. You have
like
to have a whole bunch
exhaust.
of stuff. Well, that's the thing too, is like you're supposed to be able to take like the turbo lift from the saucer section, which is the main bridge, and then like down into engineering. So it means
Yeah,
when that thing disconnects or
yeah,
realigns, like everything has to like reseal
yeah,
all together, turbo lifts and whatever else is together. I'm sure if I looked at a schematic of the Enterprise D, it would be like, here's what's in these
yeah,
areas where they connect, but still, just yeah, it's
yeah.
funny.
And then you're also trusting a systems mechanic to like when it is separated that like you better hope that that sensor or whatever it is that like holds the plate in the bottom of the lift
Yes.
elevator, you better
Yes.
hope that's still working, or else
Yes.
you'll just lift elevator to engineering and it's like when it goes right through the bottom of the floor.
It'd be just like the real that episode where Picard opens the door and he steps out into space.
It would be like that, yeah,
Except he wouldn't go back in, he'd get sucked
yeah.
out.
Except the elevator would go
Oh no.
through, and then now it would create a vacuum into the whole ship through this tube, and it would just suck everything out.
That's
Yeah.
true. True. Yeah, he says I guess they needed some fill to fill some time on this fill some runtime.
Oh yeah, they did.
Then he says, I know why they have Geordi take command. He's a series regular actor, and it's a moment to highlight him. But
Mm,
in universe, a lieutenant junior grade in the chair.
yeah.
Geordi is super capable, but how does the command structure work here? There isn't another lieutenant commander available on the ship. Why not Troy? She is a commissioned officer who must have some length of experience to be at her current rank of lieutenant commander. I like that Lieutenant Logan raised this issue, but did not like Lieutenant Logan himself,
No.
and I'm totally with you guys there. I also hate how they use Troy here overall. The pep talk with Geordi was nice, but all of her staring and staring. So dumb.
Yeah, that's true. That is what she does a lot. She just stares at stuff. She just stares and she's like, And like, anything to add? Like, no, nothing that would help you out.
I'll never tell.
Like, oh, why?
No.
Well, I don't know. It just kind of feels like they want to like kidnap half the kids and they have like malicious intent. But I mean, that's not anything. I don't know. It's nothing that you would, I get that from half the crew. So,
It is funny. Could you imagine, like, in what he's saying when it's like, okay, it's time for Jordy to take the main chair. From a television perspective, they were like, he was like, and Bilbus, you have the bridge, and then it's just some random guy, and he just like, and it's like, who's
yeah,
this guy? It's like, wow, he's the highest ranking officer when Riker and Picard are off ship. And you're like, oh,
I
and
know.
Dan.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a hierarchy, but the thing is that whoever the captain says get in the chair,
That's
that's who
true.
has the chair.
Wesley, you have the bridge.
I mean, you're not going to put Wesley there.
Maybe.
I would have some major issues put Wesley in the captain chair.
And then he concludes, hilarious when Yar gets thrown by Data. Favorite moment of this episode and maybe the season.
Series. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Season. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
all in all, pretty good, especially for season one. Great review. Thanks for the laughs and interesting conversation.
You betcha.
You got it,
You
dude.
got it, dude.
Then Captain Alimar says on the same podcast, on the good ship, Lollipop, it's a sweet trip to the candy shop. Bonbons play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay. Had a lot of fun watching the episode this week. Lots of action both in space and on the fakest jungle set they could build.
In an hour.
Yeah. I liked the discussion on how Geordi had a ham-fisted conflict with the engineer guy, and it was just there for drama.
Yep.
I think Will's idea that the nervous bridge crew could have been played up more, and I like that it made Troy's position look useful. Both
For a
plots
minute.
this week were pretty compelling and managed to fit in some character building for the good doctor and her grandmother. Takes note. No one cares about the Drake after they buy the bots. Whatever, I guess, for the crew of the Drake. Thanks for joining Starfleet, idiots.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good.
Then he put the time stamp of you talking about because he loved it. He loved you talking about the phasers and how funny it looked, and he he totally didn't notice anything until you mentioned it.
Mm, like as far as like their hand
The
movement.
hand like
Yeah.
aiming forward thing, yeah.
It's very over dramatic. I
It
I
is.
know what you mean. Your whole point was that like they're needed to like track it, so like you have to like stay still. But it's
Right.
like you can just stay still when you get to the position. But
It's
it's
true.
very much like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's real over the top. It's like, hey, you can just whip that thing out and then get it into place and then lock in. You can do that too. Like then I can follow that. It's not like the guy's with his mouse and he's like, oh, 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 there it is. Okay. He's like trying to
Yeah.
track as like they're moving the hand up.
I think the even worse thing is back then it was like guys with like pencils making drawings on the actual film.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
He's got like sharp like highlighters.
Yeah, exactly. You're both right. I bet it's about how they did the effect production stuff. Yep, which we touched on. Then he says, for the sweet stuff award, I love the shot of the full phaser arrays firing and the photon torpedo spread. It was so awesome, even if it hit nothing.
They did like that, yeah.
Thanks for the review as always, guys. We're happy.
Fire when ready.
I haven't ready. It's really fun. We really appreciated all the comments and the laughs. So we got two more short ones on previous older podcasts of the original series, both from They Strum Review. On our Galileo 7 podcast, he
Oh
briefly
man.
commented, "For all we know, the Galileo crash landed on a monument to their glorious founder, or alien Jesus, or the birthplace of their space JFK."
Yeah,
It's
I wouldn't doubt
possible.
it.
It's possible. Oh
Yeah.
my God, they crushed caveman Abraham Lincoln. They're enraged. Uh,
Uh, I like the Galileo.
yeah, that's a great episode. You know what's funny? They commented on that video, and I went and watched it, and I started to watch like our review of it. And I was like, oh yeah. A little narcissistic of me, but I still enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And then another comment on our another podcast, our TOS episode, Where No Man Has Gone Before. And Zaystrom Review writes, Starfleet has a very strong anti-God stance. As soon as Mitchell said he was a deity, Kirk and Spock flipped out and started beating him up.
I know. And then Kirk will like quote the Bible
Yeah.
and he'll quote like religious texts,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but they're just like they have such a it's funny. Kirk is like, we're gonna meet God face to face. All of it will be revealed. I knew it. I know this is real. And then they get there and he's like, "Psh, I knew this wasn't real. I knew this wasn't God. There's no God.
I knew this the whole time.
I knew it from the beginning."
It's very true. It's very, very true. So those were the comments for the week. So make sure you come back next week so you can catch more comments and catch our take on what you said on the podcast. We feel that this gives a little bit more light of day, and now Caleb and I don't feel rushed to get into the review and all of these things.
Yeah.
So to do a little frosting on the top, we're gonna look at the top rated comments of two Reddit posts, like two Reddit subreddits. One being the original series and the other being Enterprise. Since we've covered those, no spoilers for Caleb, because I looked at the subreddit for general Star Trek and I was like, nope. I was like, it's just gonna spoil him constantly. So we're gonna pick those specific series.
This is popular, so popular. This is popular this week.
And we'll start with Enterprise.
Oh my God.
And so from Oh God, duh, we see here in the prime timeline, he's still out there. And that is Balthasar Edison or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the main bad guy from Star Trek Beyond, who is played by Idris Elba.
Oh,
And they're saying the USS Franklin, which is there at the bottom, it does
yeah.
exist in our timeline because the Chris Pine stuff where the USS Kelvin gets destroyed by Nero's ship
Yeah.
is after Enterprise the series. So technically Enterprise, the TV show and everything before the USS Kelvin getting destroyed is canon. Like it still exists in both worlds.
Oh, that's funny.
So
I
he's
remember the
still,
Franklin.
yeah. So he's still out there looking beautiful.
And he was a Mako.
Yep, that was the whole thing. Yep.
That's cool.
Because when he's in like the air purification thing with the bomb, he's like, "We have to fight the Zindi," and he's all angry and he's
Yeah.
all yeah.
That's cool.
And then for TOS, KK Can 2020 just posted some pictures of Shatner, Nimoy, and DeForest Kelly throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's got a lot. It had a lot of upvotes. At like 1,400 upvotes. So
That's pretty cool.
popular this week. I
Huh.
think the funny thing is too is I think these are almost like 15 years apart, each of them. They're close, probably close.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. So we hope you
That
enjoyed
is
those
cool.
Reddit posts, since that's what's so popular in those subreddits. So popular.
Oh, is that the title of this?
So popular. Well, we appreciate all your comments and your support, and all you doing all of the great, wonderful things down below to make our YouTube page look excellent. So we ask for you to please continue doing that, and we'll see you all next week. But until then, hailing frequencies closed.
O's.
I was gonna originally call this section "That's What You Think."
Yeah. That's good.